Hello there. I wanted to try and talk a little today about Catfiddle Street. There's been lots of questions about it, so thought it might be good to make a video going through a few points. I guess that's particularly for people who are interested in design and development. I realize there's no shortage of people who want to tell you about what you should or shouldn't be doing in our society. I don't want to be telling anyone what they should or shouldn't do. Just thought it might be helpful, maybe provide some information. Because I remember myself being younger, I really couldn't understand how my friends saw that all the asphalt and glass, and steel and plastic was necessary elements needed for modern comfort. I guess I started to look into the claim that we couldn't afford anymore to build at human scale using proven construction methods, or zoning laws were necessary and regulations would make cities safer, and ornament was stupid, old houses were uncomfortable or unhygienic. It's obvious in terms of real estate that the historic areas and old parts of town are the most valuable, and people are always flocking to visit human scale cities and towns. So really the answer should be that we can build as beautifully as generations did before. You just have to decide to do it. And part of that is we need to get creative and find a financial basis for it. Around the time that I was trying to really figure it out, I realized I was totally sick and tired of beautiful architecture only being for rich people. How do we make it not just for rich people? In one way, small spaces, beautiful but small. Because the cheapest thing around is always going to rent. And people will pay more for even a small space just because of how it looks or how it makes them feel. It's still the cheapest thing available in the market because it's the smallest thing available. And places might be small, but they might feature soaring ceilings and sleeping lofts, or useful storage built in, or unique outdoor common spaces. So the monthly rent might be the same as the rest of the market, but if the place is on average 50% smaller on a square foot basis, it's more profitable. It might be ideal for younger professionals or medical students who prefer to allocate their resources to a more unique space in a nice environment. So you end up getting affordable places for people to live on top of beautiful places. So who could have guessed that? And then also at the start, in each of the houses, we would always design a little space that could be rented out to help pay the mortgage for the owner, which was another way to help achieve a higher standard of building. You think, why do we like, or why do you like traditional buildings, or why do so many people prefer traditional building or older types of urbanism in places like Charleston, Lisbon, Oxford, Siena, Bruges, Copenhagen? We started to notice people coming to Catfiddle for tours, and the people were all wondering what it was they were seeing, like what century the buildings were from. It was a great compliment, I thought. And then to our surprise, people started to pay a lot more money for the buildings when they ended up getting resold. And the street was attracting a different kind of clientele than the type of person that we originally were building for. Some of those original residents remain and are still around, which has created a really excellent community and interesting cast of characters on the street. Excuse me. I guess there was an unmet demand for smaller houses and people who could afford more space but prefer to live in a well-designed, solidly built space community. Again, we do have renters who have been with us staying in Catfiddle Street for years and years, and that kind of puts together this jumbled community. If we zoom out and really think why we're doing this, maybe it's reasonable that we shouldn't be tearing down local cultures in favor of a building culture that's the homogenized blah that we see all around. People build crappy places because they're greedy. And then a next developer sees that person doing it and that makes them greedy. You have to decide to do it with a purpose and prioritize permanence. And then you can make the numbers work. We allow other people who maybe sound slick or come across like experts to persuade us to do things that are temporary and inferior. Everything that's happening today is not better, and everything that came from yesterday is not worthless. We can make the world more beautiful. I personally prefer the older system where the townspeople simply built the town, not a massive conglomerate or group of financiers who don't have any interest in the place beyond just profit. The old system produced better results. Anyway, I prefer videos that are shorter. This one's already gone on too long. Maybe we can talk more about Catfiddle Street another time. The pipe, for those pipe smokers out there, it's a Northern Briars made in England, and in it is Country Squire Bill's Blend. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.